Happy Sunday, Dolphins fans. Welcome to Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. We are going to be talking Tyreek Hill today, and if Miami and Chris Grier should extend the all-pro wide receiver, as he does want a little bit more money after seeing some of his peers get a massive bag. Before we get into it, though, make sure you are following me over on Twitter. At Nic_Rohloff is my handle, because I got daily Dolphins coverage over there. And if you want more Dolphins content in between each videos, my Twitter is the best place to find it. I also would have the news on Tyreek Hill's extension before I come over and make a video. So if you'd want to be informed first on that, if it actually ever happened, follow me over at Nic_Rohloff. Let's talk about Tyreek Hill now, because there's a lot of extension rumors surrounding the Miami Dolphins. I don't think that's any surprise, right? Tua Tagovailoa, Jevon Holland. But Tyreek Hill is a name that we have to talk about because the Dolphins should absolutely think of extending him, especially when he kind of wants more money. When you think of what the highest paid wide receivers are in the National Football League, it might be hard to comprehend why Tyreek Hill would want more money. It is, because he is already the fourth highest paid wide receiver at $30 million per season, but it does come behind Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and specifically the number I want to look at here is the number one highest paid guy, Justin Jefferson, getting paid $35 million on an annual average basis, because that is why I understand that Tyreek Hill wants more money. The two best wide receivers in football, without a doubt in my opinion, are Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. You can pick your poison on which one you want to say is the best. It's really a matter of what you want. Hill is obviously the speed demon who can beat you in a different variety of ways, but Justin Jefferson's your prototypical big-bodied wide receiver that can beat you with contested catches but also dominate you with his route running. So I understand both sides of the coin here, but there just simply is no denying Tyreek Hill being one of those top two guys in the NFL, especially since he's joined the Miami Dolphins, because in the 33 games he's played down in South Beach, he has been unbelievable, having 119 receptions in both of the two seasons with Miami, over 1,700 yards in both seasons, combining for 20 touchdowns, having 100 yards on average in every single game. Like, this is someone who just dominates opposing defenses week in, week out, and has been healthy the entire time. There always is a little lingering hamstring issue, it feels like, because, well, when you run that fast and stop on the dimes that he does, like, it's just naturally going to happen. But he has been a warrior out there, and you see it. He's played in 33 of the 34 possible regular season games. He is the best or second best wide receiver in football, without a doubt. So should Miami extend Tyreek Hill? We're going to talk about why he should get extended more in depth here coming in a second, but let me know, should he get extended this offseason by Chris Grier? If I was Chris Grier, I am extending Tyreek Hill. Well, he's only got 1 year left on his contract, and yes, he does have another year. There just simply isn't a lot of guarantees in that contract, which is why Tyreek Hill probably wants more money. And there are a lot of benefits to extending Tyreek Hill or restructuring his contract, where he gets a lot of signing bonuses and guaranteed money in the last couple seasons anyway, because it could create more cap space for you in the future and this season. Tyreek Hill spoke about potentially getting more money in the mini camp when he was asked by the media. And he had this to say, which was very obviously good for Dolphins fans to hear. Ensuring I'm a Dolphins for life, that's number one. That's priority number one, man. We already know being greedy ain't going to help the team. Whatever happens, happens, man. And that's kind of like a thing that I'm happy to hear, right? Like, Tyreek Hill wants to stay a Dolphin for the rest of his career. He likes it in Miami. He likes the teammates. He likes Mike McDaniel, likes the system. Yeah, keep him there. Like, it's good. Like, that's what I want to see. And I like the fact that he said that I'm not trying to be greedy. Like, he wants his money, but he knows that other people have to get paid too, which is probably the main reason why I'd actually extend Tyreek Hill. Sure, it might seem like paying him that much money now seems like, well, that's a bad idea, but it does create more cap space for you right now that could potentially be allotted to other extensions like Tua Tagovailoa and Jevon Holland. Omar Kelly of the Miami Herald had this note a day ago on a Tyreek Hill potential extension, saying Miami can do a restructuring or an extension now, and it would actually help extend the expiration date on this roster as presently constructed, because redoing Hill's could create as much as $14 million in additional cap space if he's given a 1 or 2 year extension, even if he remains one of the NFL's 3 highest paid wide receivers. And sure, like we're in mid-June here, or end of June, I should say, and right again in July, where training camp gets underway in 2 or 3 weeks. Like, yeah, the cap space isn't going to be crazy, but it absolutely would be helpful for Miami when you come into fact and factor in the other extensions in play. Like, it just gives you a lot of flexibility for Miami to move money around, give a lot, like maybe if they do extend a Tua or a Jevon Holland, they give them a lot more money up front, so their cap hit is bigger now when you have the cap space, and then over time, it's not as big of a hit for you, which means you can spend money elsewhere, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because if the Dolphins make a move, we make a video. And I want to thank all the Dolphins fans out there for getting us to 57K subscribers. Appreciate all the help, and we are going to continue on the uprise. Let's get to 58K soon. All right, when we get to extension candidates that are coming up for the Miami Dolphins, there is obviously 2 big names, Tua Tagovailoa and Jevon Holland. Those are the 2 guys that I think we need to get extended pretty soon. Tua is obviously the headliner, considering the fact that he's the QB, and there's been ongoing negotiations between Miami and Tua, but they seem to not be going in the best directions as we currently sit. And then Jevon Holland, who I'll talk about more in just a second on why I think it's very important that you get him extended. But as we mentioned, to kind of put the cherry on top of this Tyreek Hill conversation, if you will, getting that potential $10 to $14 million in cap space from a Tyreek Hill extension could help you get Tua or Holland extended right now. And they could front load that contract, like I mentioned, which would only create more ability to spend in the future. And if I had to really pick one of the guys, and it's kind of crazy because I've been very outspoken since taking over this channel that I would extend Tua because the grass isn't always greener, and I don't think you're going to find a better option. And I expect a big year 3 in Mike McDaniel offense that Tua is going to go out and do. But I think Jevon Holland should be the one that Miami extends without a doubt this offseason prior to this regular season. Why, you ask? Well, Jevon Holland is entering the 4th and final year of his rookie contract since he was only a second-round pick out of Oregon, and he has been excellent. He already is a top 5, top 6 safety in the National Football League after a really good start to his career in his first 2 seasons. And he battled injuries last year and had a little bit of a down year, but I expect him to have a real bounce-back season, the strongest year of his career under Anthony Weaver, because his scheme and system coming over from Baltimore really benefits the safety position. Just think of what Kyle Hamilton has been able to do. He is the best safety in all of football right now, and I think Holland maybe can't be the best safety in football, but could absolutely have a big-time role like Kyle Hamilton has had in Baltimore. And why you should get that done as well is, well, if you get a Jevon Holland extension done this offseason, you don't obviously risk him leaving in free agency next year, but you also alleviate another avenue, I guess I should say open up an avenue with the Tua situation. Because if you were to not get a Tua extension done this offseason, but also don't get a Jevon Holland extension done, when you go into next offseason, you either have to use the franchise tag on Tua or Jevon Holland, and the other is going to hit free agency if you don't get that extension done. So to me, if you get it done with Holland now, even if you strike out with Tua this offseason, you have nothing to worry about because you can just say, hey, if he plays well, we're going to franchise tag him. So he can't hit free agency, and then you give him a long-term deal after that. So getting a Holland extension done now makes the most sense if you're asking me. So pick one to extend. If you had to pick one to get done before training camp, let me know who it would be. Type TT for Tua Tagovailoa or type JH for Jevon Holland. I do want to make this note, by the way. We are 16 days away from rookies reporting the training camp. Yeah, July 16th is when the rooks show up. 23rd is when the veterans show up, so that's when Hill, Holland, Tua will all go. And the soft deadline for a Tua extension was July 23rd because they want to get it done prior to training camp. So we got 3 weeks to get a Tua extension done. I don't know about Jevon Holland. I'd assume it's kind of similar in that regard of wanting to get it done prior to training camp. So 3 weeks. This next 3 weeks will be very key for Miami in how they build this roster long term because they need to get at least one of these two guys extended. And I wouldn't hate a Tyreek Hill extension either. We'll have to see if it does get done. Like I said, though, if an extension does happen, my Twitter will be the first place you see it. So follow me over there for more Dolphins content and instant breaking news surrounding the Fins. At Nic_Rohloff's the handle. Go give me a follow.